everybody, welcome back to Golden Rosa Oracle. Um, this reading's going to be kind of dreamy. Trying to find the word for it. It's like not like a really super structured reading. The last reading I did was about overcoming our fear and leaning into faith. And there was a reoccurring message that one of the antidotes to fear is our creativity and our imagination and dreaming up the life and the world that we want and we desire. And so I thought it'd be fun to just come on and do a reading where we explore the power of dreaminess, and that can be literal, like dreams at night, because we are entering into um, the more of the winter season here in the northern hemisphere with the longer nights. Obviously, the earth goes to sleep, some of the animals go to sleep. Humans have to go through all the holidays, and we're usually run ragged this time of year. But usually by January, we get to hibernate a little bit if we're lucky, and we have the good sense not to start our New Year's resolutions until spring, which is probably a better time to start new things. So in honor of the dreamy time of year and just for kicks, this isn't like a really serious reading. It's just asking spirit for some inspiration onto the ways that we can engage with like a dreamier aspect of ourselves, like the fun part, like we might feel like sometimes like life is really heavy, or we're getting old, or our dreams are behind us, or things are just feeling stressful or stale, or whatever. I don't want to keep saying icky words, but you get my drift. We all disconnect from our dreaminess sometimes, and I just want to ask Spirit today, like, for some ways that we can reconnect. So hopefully this will be a fun reading, a little journey to go on that we can come back to if we need a little fresh inspiration in our life. Dear Spirit, would you please give us some archetypes to start off with that will help us access our dreamy nature, the part of us that thinks big, the part of us that is sort of unencumbered from, obligation and rigidity, and just sort of float in that cosmic energy of creation, expansion, fun, adventure, wearing new hats, dreaming new dreams, creating new things. Just a really fun, expansive energy. Literally the energy of God itself. What do we think of when we think of God? Okay, I don't know. Okay, I'll answer that. It's different for every single person on earth. But when I think of God or goddess or whatever that, divine higher power is, to me, it's just creativity. Like, that's what you think of, right? Like, well, God is what created everything. That's what God is. So, you could say God is love, and I think that's also true. God with air quotes, God with however, it's a word for the thing that has no appropriate name. Or I love in the Hermetica, it says all names are his name, or you could also say all names are her name. It's just the all that is, but it is inherently creative, right? Like, that's how we know it. It could also be the great void, of course, the place where dreams are sown, and the great empty void of space. So anyway, this reading is going to be all over the place, and that is the point. It's just to jog us into a dreamy, creative, inspired, expansive kind of consciousness. So let's just flow with it. Dear Spirit, dear Mother, Father, God, the all that is, the creative force of the universe, what archetypes would you give us to tap into our own creativity? Interesting. All right. So let me try to put these in the order they came out. Okay. So we started off with my absolute favorite tarot card, and that is the Star, which literally is about inspiration, hope, healing, the cosmos. So we could say one way to access our larger self, our larger potential, is just literally to look up at the stars, right? That always gives me a sense of awe. That always gives me a feeling of just how vast the universe is. Like, what is our place in it? It always brings up these feelings that are sort of melancholy, kind of nostalgic, like maybe a homesickness for some place out in the galaxies. Um, but yeah, definitely looking up at the stars can awaken our dreamy nature. Next, we have the Chariot, and the Chariot is all about forward movement, but it's forward movement done in the right way. It's done in flow with all of um, all of Tao, all of creation. It's not done at the expense of anything else. So, another way we can connect to uh, our dreaminess is to take forward action, but to make sure that it's ethical, that it's coming from love. I'm thinking of those bracelets that people used to wear that was like, what would Jesus do? Um, you could obviously pick whatever uh, being inspires you. It could be a writer, a painter, an actor, or anything inspiring to you personally. Um, but I think the keywords with this card are that you want to keep taking action, you want to keep moving forward, and you want to do it in the proper way, in a way that is respectful to all of life. Next, we have the Nine of Pentacles, which is a lot about having our wishes fulfilled in the material realm. But she's in this illustration, she's playing the piano for a tree. So um, I'm gonna just go off book here with this particular card, and it's a like whatever our gifts are, like maybe sometimes maybe we don't share our gifts or our dreams because we are concerned that there's not an audience for them, or that we'll be judged, or we're not good enough or something. But I love in this that she's like playing a song for the tree, and there's this like star orb in the tree, which makes me think the tree's enjoying this. So why not go play some music for a tree, or sing to a tree, or something of that ilk. um, and next we have the Nine of Wands, and Nine of Wands is a card of like hard work and struggle. It's like fighting the long battle, and interesting that it's coming up in a spread about dreaminess. Um, but maybe the lesson there is just that even in our creative pursuits, like they are tiring. Honestly, like in this moment, I'm a little bit tired, and I wanted to do a reading, and I thought, I should just push through my tired, because if I were at work right now at a job, I would be pushing through my tired. And I think sometimes we're really um, willing to suffer for the things we don't want. Like if you go to your job and you don't really like your job, but you'll be there for 8 hours working your butt off, right? But how often do you work your butt off for like something you do want? And like all things do require some effort. And so while we want to be in this very inspired state all the time, we want to just be like, oh, I just had the inspiration for this. Like I honestly had to kind of like reach for the inspiration for this reading. I was like, I want to do a reading, but I don't really know what about. And before, I'd always be like, the inspiration came first. And in this reading, this reading is only happening because I pushed past that initial feeling. It took me a couple hours to like come on to something. And I was like, okay, well, I can riff off like my last reading, And we're sort of entering this dreamy time of year, and it finally came to me. But my point is, sometimes our creativity is going to come when we push through that initial creative block, or that initial tiredness, or we have to be willing to sacrifice for our creativity as much as we sacrifice for everything else. So on that note, let's go to, I want to get some plants, or maybe we'll get more than one. We'll see what comes out. Our dear plant spirits, which plant would like to help us to cultivate and tap into our dreaminess? Okay. All right, we got two. And we got red root and figwort. All right. So red root I have worked with. I've used it as a tincture, and I love it coming up for this because my experience of using redwort was that it had a psychological effect on me of, like, when you see like a fern, like a little tip, and it's like a little spiral, it's like tightly spiraled. It felt like if that was me, that little spiral, that it loosened that up, like it opened it up. It opened me up to like um, to life, to something. Because when you have tension in your body from stress or trauma, or unresolved emotions, etc., that we all have, we can kind of tighten up and brace against life, and that can block off some of the flow that would make us feel dreamy. So I like that card coming through for us. And let me see what it says in the book. It says red root is an interstitial interstitial interstitial, I'm not sure what that word means, sorry. Interplanetary edgewalker. There we go. As in so many plant-human relationships, the physical relationship of red root to our bodies mirrors and reflects the energetic relationships we have with ourselves and others. A plant of authenticity and integrity, red root can pass between different tissues in our body, making our blood more slippery, our systems of delivery more effective, and our cells more efficient. So is the way of red root on the spirit level, helping to clear forms of stagnation and thickness. Red root is particularly helpful if you feel beholden to community or social values that you may not share or do not feel true to you. Red root is our ally when we are seeking to express ourselves more truthfully, even if it's not what others may want. At times, we may need to assist or assert who we are in the face of what others may think, or against what our family may want us to be. Red root helps clear the fog of influence and allows you to find the source of what is genuine and real for you, and to act from that place. Call in red root to find your voice, state your truth, be proud of who you are, and don't let others try to tell you what is right or true. Red root allows you to remember clearly that dishonesty or white lies, even if you think it's what someone wants to hear, will not serve anyone. Where might you be masking yourself, or hiding what you most desire? Where can you find more of your voice? Claim your essence. Red root will be there to guide you. All right, beautiful. And then we have figwort. I've honestly never worked with this plant, so I'm not sure what it does. All right, for figwort, it says the compass. If you met figwort, you know, elegant figwort stands up tall and takes no nonsense. Figwort is your stern auntie, the one who is the kindest person in the room, but who does not coddle or cater. This unwavering ally, with their deep commitment to what is good and just, will set you on the course you are meant for, but may not have known you are on already. Figwort will course through the entirety of your being, shaking off the chafe. Figwort will discipline your whole organism, not for discipline's sake, but to cut through to the core of your integrity. Figwort is an understated beauty. Very, They are the magnetic center drawing you near and looking you squarely in the face. Figwort is not perfume and roses. Figwort is the bitter brew that helps you make you feel better. If you're looking for a tough love kind of guidance or an ally to help you cut to the heart of the matter and make bold, clear choices, Figwort is already by your side. Smell Figwort and remember what the most basic, stripped down, and true version of yourself is. Look at that self in the face, and you will see Figwort in the shadow of your eyes, smiling with a hand on your shoulder. Cool. Yeah, that's a good message for connecting to our dreams and our dreaminess is that a lot of what bogs us down and makes us feel like our dreams are out of reach or we're too tired to like attend to them is the perceptions and expectations of the outside world. So having a plant ally like figwort could be really helpful if you're feeling like you can't put energy into your dreams and your imagination because of the apron strings are tying you to this like sort of servitude to other people's expectations, so maybe you find that um, same kind of energy elsewhere, but I think the energy of allowing yourself to be free from that weight of societal expectation is really important for accessing our dreamy nature. All right. Let me go now and get this deck from the Earth Alchemy. This one has some plants and some crystals, so we'll see which ones want to come through for us. It's funny. I thought this topic would be so like lighthearted, but it's interesting how you kind of have to have this strong internal structure or support to like get to the dreaminess, right? So that's kind of coming out a bit. All right, dear spirit, do you have some messages for us through the Earth Alchemy cards that would help us to access our dreamy nature, our dreamy imaginative potential? Thank you. Oh, weird. Remember I was just saying with the red root that it made me feel like a fern that was unraveled, and then we got this card with a fern on it. That's so funny. All right. The keywords are strip back and simplify. Look to your origins. And it's funny because it's almost like a lot of this, even though it hasn't used the term inner child, it's kind of like the energies that would bring you back to your inner child, essentially, right? Which is our most dreamy and imaginative self. And I'm gonna have to use the index here. Where is it? All right. So the crystal is a stromatolite. Not one I'm familiar with, but it says it was one of the, oh, maybe like, oh, it's a fossil. Okay. It was one of the first living organisms on Earth. 3.7 billion years ago, made of layers of fossilized cyanobacteria. Its energy is slow and steady, ready to teach you the value of patience on your healing journey. It's happy to sit back and help you be calm and relax. But if you want to move forward and push on faster, it's very adaptable. There's a reason it has survived for so many years. It speaks of stripping back and uncloaking all of the fear we hold on to. It wants to simplify and bring a fresh perspective on what is needed in your life right now as opposed to what is wanted. You have chosen a talisman for change, a grandfather energy, knowing, confident, and reassuring. It will assist you in fulfilling your soul's goals on a personal and planetary level. Stromalite holds the eternal wisdom of Mother Nature that emulated billions of years ago, takes you back to the beginning of life, connecting you to the primordial state of Earth when the Earth was pure. It is this vision that we need to hold on to, a new Earth in its purest state. It wishes to assist you in activating cellular memory. It will take you back to your first lives on Earth. The memories are imprinted on the Akashic field, many of us holding cellular memories from the root races spawning Tara, the future Earth in 5D form, or from Lemurian and Atlantis. Our ancestors knew the importance of crystals as sacred vibrational tools that support our connection to the highest realms of light and consciousness. They knew that all living things were connected through the crystal grid networks. The knowledge of this was carried over to the ancient Egyptian cultures after the fall of Atlantis, as many tried to save the teachings and protect the knowledge. Deep cellular regeneration can be achieved now. Its energy will clear the pathways through your root and earth star chakras, assisting you in rebuilding healthy structures and holding you in wholeness. All right. Interesting. So we can take from this that Spirit's saying, in order to be as dreamy and imaginative and creative as possible, it's a stripping back to your very roots and beginning as a vibrational being, you know. So that would be a lot of time travel. You have to time travel. All right. No, seriously. It's funny actually just to look at the images, because yeah, the red root, I was saying, in my experience, it helps you sort of unravel your true self. And then with the figwort, it was saying about cutting away the expectations of society and getting to your own true form. And then this card, at least the imagery really kind of like touches on both those things. So we seem to be on a trail here. Let's go now to some animals, or animal. We'll see what wants to come through. Our dear animal spirits, who wants to teach us how to be dreamy and inspired and creative? This is the pocket edition of the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck, and it's really tiny. It's kind of hard to shuffle. Our dear animal spirits, who can teach us about accessing our dreamiest, most creative, intuitive states? Thank you. Oh, a phoenix. That's so funny. That literally came up in the last reading I just did in a different deck. All right, beautiful. Phoenix is definitely an energy I relate hard to. The death, rebirth cycle, shedding the old skin. All right. Phoenix, freedom from suffering and fear, past karma, and reincarnation. The phoenix represents the transformation of our past. It doesn't mean running from it or denying it or burning bridges with rage. The phoenix employs an advanced technique described in yoga as the burning of impurities through practice and dedication. The essence of phoenix is with us when we realize that we have been suffering for too long and something must change. We take a stand and decide to live consciously instead of being driven by the unconscious mind and its long list of fears and aversions. At this very moment, the spark of the phoenix is lit, and the great bird helps us burn through our baggage. We no longer run from who we are, what has happened to us, or what we have done. The stuckness and the dead weight fall into the ashes, and a lightness and clarity emerge. As the stagnancy continues to smolder, the phoenix lifts up our spirits, up, and we begin to recognize ourselves again. We may catch a glimmer in our eyes that wasn't there before. Look closely, it's the sign the fire of transformation is upon your wings. Interesting. So, yeah, we're getting just a repeated message that in order to access our most dreamy, flowy, creative, inspired state, it's really seems to be a process of elimination, of eliminating the sort of hardened, conditioned, fear based self in favor of the most pure and essential and original version of ourselves, which the phoenix represents by this going through the fire and coming out renewed over and over and over. And I'm just laughing because I really thought this was going to be like a fun reading, like, oh, this is going to be lighthearted and fun, and it's like, you must burn through the fire and get pure. No escaping. All right, so let's go into our heavenly bodies. And our dear heavenly bodies, or this deck is called the Heavenly Bodies, but it deals with different aspects of astrology. So, what can Spirit teach us about accessing our most dreamy self, our most imaginative self, through the astrological bodies and influences? Thank you. And we got 2 on that one. So first up, we got the sextile, which is a combination of tension and flow, potential, and a rewarding situation. It says when 2 planets sit 60 degrees away from another, they are in sextile, symbolically the gatekeepers to a beautiful healing. With diligent effort, this combination of tension and flow leads to great rewards. There is potent, energetic flow between the planets involved, but like a garden, the relationship needs tending, and with guidance and nurturing, a sextile blossoms, bestowing its gift. It's important to identify this aspect because an ignored sextile is not only a missed opportunity, but easily misrepresented as a block. Interesting. In early life, a sextile may feel troublesome before it's identified and developed. However, if nurtured, sextiles offer harmonious support in growth and achievement. The keywords are potential. The experiences are a combination of tension and flow and rewarding situation. Okay, those are the keywords. Yeah. So the omen is clarify your intentions and move towards your dream wholeheartedly. But remember, an intention is a deeply rooted internal touchstone, not an external possession. It's your deepest purpose. It's your deeper purpose behind the thing you want. So, can you affirm your intention with prophetic specificity while allowing the shape of what you want to shift? Can you remain laser focused while trusting the hard lines of your target to form the closer you move towards it? Shift your focus from external gains to internal desires of your soul. You're supported more than ever in making your dreams come true. But first, you must be crystal clear on what you truly want. Hold on to your knowing and move through life with unshakable integrity. Your reward is coming. It's already yours. You're just catching up with it. All right. So I think I'm not a astrology person per se. I think it's interesting, but all the math kind of the 60 degrees is just giving me geometry trauma. But essentially, what I'm gathering here is when planets have this relationship to each other. It can feel like a block, it can feel like something's stuck, but there's just a need to go deeper, and to look at all of our blocks in this way, when we're feeling like cut off from our inspiration, to not take that as a closed door, but as a clue as to something that we can, dig in there, and like this, unraveling situation needs to happen. Like we're not permanently ever blocked or stuck, but sometimes there's a deeper soul purpose in going through that block or that stagnation, which kind of rents me back to like this Nine of Wands energy of like just keep fighting for it, like fight for your dreams and your creativity, because they're there for all of us. Like we all have it, and it's sometimes, not it's not always easy to access. Sometimes it takes a little work. Aquarius energy. That seems very apt from what I understand about Aquarius. Very unconventional energy. And you don't have to be an Aquarius. It's just like this is just an energetic archetype that you can tap into. Most likely you have Aquarius somewhere in your chart, but they're all just characters, in the grand scheme of things, and we can learn from these energetic characters. So Aquarians are free-spirited folk who live in a progressive world of ideas. They march to the rhythm of their own drum and have an innate quirkiness about them. With a humanitarian spirit, they are aware of the strengths, weaknesses, joy, and sorrows of the collective. Transmuting their social paradigms into utopian ideals, their imaginings are filled with radical, forward-thinking beliefs on how to heal mankind. They are groundbreaking innovators, impassioned activists, and everyday seekers, all working to push humanity forward. Modern astrology links Aquarius to revolutionary Uranus, the planet, as both energies hold a torch for inner truth, equality, and freedom. However, prior to Uranus's discovery, hard-edged Saturn was the original planetary ruler. And while Saturn may feel like a stale partner for this bohemian force, it speaks to the discipline Aquarius holds around idealistic beliefs. It can even become aloof, dogmatic, or authoritarian if it over-identifies with a movement. The energetics are originality, progressive imaginations, humanitarian concerns, discipline around idealistic beliefs, philanthropy. And the Owen says, you are the holder of a beautiful gift, meaning you have the potential to be of great service to your community or humanity at large. More than a skill or talent, there is a special quality you bring to this world. It's effortless and innately yours. You may be a deeply compassionate listener or a radical advocate against social injustice. Whatever it is, when you're embodiment of your gift, you'll feel lit up because you're in alignment with your spirit. And by stepping into your authenticity, you help raise the collective. There is a perfect place for everyone. Yeah, it's interesting. All these messages kind of come back to this like push pull of like, you know, it's beautiful to have these dreams, about like a better world for everybody and these humanitarian leanings, but it really does come down to like the hard work of actually making that happen, like um, very interesting. Like I said, I didn't really expect this reading to be so much about like nose to the grindstone. I thought it was going to be, we're going to go like hang out with Neptune and float around in outer space, and it's kind of nose to the grindstone, it's interesting. But yeah, the Aquarius energy is very good for shaking things up, opening us up to the greater good. And yeah, cool. All right, I'm just gonna keep this short. Um, I just thought it would be a fun addition to the last reading because, like I said, it had so much to do with. It was interesting. The last reading I did was about overcoming your fears, and so much of it was okay. You need to tap into your intuition. You need to tap into your creativity. You need to tap into what you do want. So it was like going from like fear to idealism. And then it was like, okay, well, how do we become idealistic? And then this reading is like, well, you got to work real hard. You got to strip away everything that's not you and stay the course and, push on and uh, go through the fire. And that's how you stay ideal. So that yin yang, energy between the two readings is very interesting. But let's just wrap it up. This is just kind of a, like I said, a supplementary reading to the last one. Or anytime you're feeling a little bit creatively stuck, you don't have to watch them in order. But let's get one last message from Spirit. Here, dear Spirit, do you have a final message for us on how to cultivate our state of dreaminess and imagination, please? And we got flexibility with a tiger, which I'm just going to put on top there. All right. So I got a tiger in these beautiful woods. It looks like autumn time. Oh, it's bamboo. Okay, so it's bamboo in the wind. The symbolism of bamboo runs deep. Whereas many larger, seemingly stronger trees will break in the high winds, bamboo simply bends and sways. Its flexibility allows it to survive and even thrive while other species suffer. Even during a hard winter when the branches are laden with snow, bamboo doesn't break. It snaps back when the snow melts in the spring. It also has a strong root system, so that even during great storms it survives. Additionally, it is often a symbol of abundance because of its rapid growth. Its upward, verdant, constant growth is used as a metaphor for the fulfilling rise of prosperity. The sacred landscape wants you to know. The meaning of this card is rich and varied. It cautions you to be flexible in life, be willing to bend and yield. There are times to stand strong, there are also times to go around a situation rather than face it head on. This card suggests that being amenable to This card suggests being amenable to change. It is also a fantastic card for abundance and prosperity and suggests that if you are flexible, prosperity can come and will come your way in all areas. Additionally, suggests it is a time of rapid growth ahead. Don't resist it. The time is right for this surge of spiritual growth to occur. And yeah, that makes sense. When you think about a bamboo and how it's able to like withstand the wind and withstand the elements and keep growing and keep thriving, it's because it's not overly rigid, so as we're going back and forth between these very dreamy and idealistic states and cosmic awareness and opening ourselves up, we're also able to have those, like I said, like the really strong roots that go like really deep in the ground, and that internal strength, so that we can be flexible, so that we are able to sway in the wind, if you will. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you are feeling creatively stuck in some way, it does seem like the message is to like keep pushing forward. Um, Treat your blocks like challenges, like opportunities, but definitely not a closed door, to really tap into your own true essence and open up to like the purity of your most original self, like your soul before it was incarnated into a realm of limitation and fear and distortion. Um, and yeah, that ultimately this energy of dreaming is the energy that always is going to bring forth the new, whatever that is. So we've all been here, I think, for a very long time through this lifetime and others, and we keep we keep on keeping on. We keep renewing. We keep taking different forms. We keep changing and growing and pushing ourselves forward and the world forward. And it's not fun and games always, you know, it can be hard work, but ultimately, you know, it's the very essence of creation itself, and it is what we are. So, on that note, let's wrap it up. And I'm wishing you a very dreamy and creative winter season. All right, much love.